Alright, what is going on, my dudes? We are back here today with a video going over the first quest of the Act 7 beta. Now, Kabam did come out and say they are going to take some time and go back and pretty much reevaluate this entire thing. And why are they doing that? Well, because to be blunt, it is absolutely awful. There is nothing good about this whatsoever. I believe out of 9 paths here, well, there are 2 paths that I find okay. A couple, maybe 3 or 4 is pushing it, but the majority of the paths are just absolutely horribly designed. And let me tell you something, I said that right to them, and so did everybody else, alright? Now, you know, in theory, it's like, why am I even making this for you guys? Like, well, if they're going to go back and change it all, what's the point? Well, I don't expect them to change it all. I expect them to fine-tune it, but I feel like it's absolutely worth going over these paths and going over who I used and why I used them and why I like certain nodes and why I believe certain nodes are designed incorrectly. I feel like that's important to talk about. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into it today. We're going to go over all 9 of these paths. We're going to go over why they're poorly designed or why they're properly designed. And we're going to start off with the perfect example here. Okay, on the first path, we're going to go in like order. We're going to go in like the rainbow, okay? The first path all the way on the left, we have a node here, okay, that we first saw in 6.4. It's a very good node. Stunning Reflection is a great node. There is nothing wrong with Stunning Reflection at all. Is it difficult? Absolutely. Should it be difficult? 100%. This is endgame content. It's not supposed to be easy. If you want easy, go replay Act 4 or Act 5, in all seriousness. Like, it's not supposed to be a walk in the park. It's supposed to be tough, but it's not supposed to punish you for doing the things you're supposed to do. Now let's talk about what I mean by that. What is Stunning Reflection? Well, that's when if you parry the opponent and you stun them, well, you're going to get stunned. Or if you have a special attack that stuns, or if you passively stun them with Dr. Doom, you're going to get stunned. Well, how do we get around Stunning Reflection? Well, besides using Ghost or just not parry. Well, we get around Stunning Reflection by inflicting an Incinerate or a Poison on the defender. And you can see that from the node right there. But what is the issue here? What are the other nodes that are placed on these defenders? Oh, Return to the Sender. 60% chance for the defender to purify any incoming Incinerate debuffs and apply an Incinerate debuff to the attacker, dealing 30% attack over 7 seconds. Oh, that's fine. You want to know why? Because I ranked up my Human Torch and my Sunspot for 6.4 Stunning Reflection path. 1 month ago, I ranked them up just for this node. Wait, there's more. If the Incinerate is purified or prevented by the attacker's immunities, they instead receive a passive degeneration, dealing 60% attack over 7 seconds. Do I need to explain to you why that is terrible design? I don't think I have to explain that to you, right? Oh, well, just use a poison. Just use a poison because you could do Incinerate or Poison. Oh, yeah? Oh, Return to Sender. Poison. Let me spare you here. That's the same thing, except with Poison. Okay? So people went out. Players went out and they ranked up their, you know, big Incinerate champions, right? No one ranked up their Poison champions for this. They went out and they ranked up their Incinerate champions for this path and for other paths that they need Incinerate for. And now they're being punished for having that extremely niche counter to an extremely niche node. So what happens here? What happens? Well, we end up using Ghost. Why wouldn't you use Ghost? I can't use the champions that I ranked up to get around this node. Let's move on. Up next we have here Meltdown. Okay, whenever this defender is struck by a basic attack, they gain a Meltdown charge. When the defender is knocked down, consume any active Meltdown charges and deal the attacker a burst of energy damage for each Meltdown charge consumed. If there's one thing I love, it is unavoidable passive degen damage. Now, you might look at this and say, alright, I just won't knock anybody down. But then we have Thor Ragnarok, and let me tell you, you definitely want to knock that guy down with a special attack before he gets to a special 3, and Mordo, you certainly want to knock that guy down. Well, you don't have to, but usually he'll turtle up when he gets his power gain, and you knock him down. Now, the other champions in the path, you know, you don't have to knock these guys down, but like imagine like going through and not being able to use your special attacks, not using your heavy attacks. Why are we being punished for playing the game? And, you know, yeah, you can power drain them and it gets rid of them, but like, I don't know, man. I'm just not a fan of passive degen damage that comes out of nowhere. And here's the thing. It's like, alright, so we gain these charges when we hit the opponent. So, give me one reason why I shouldn't use Quake. We're developing content that counters Quake and Ghost. Yeah? Well, all of your content so far is making me want to use Quake and Ghost. Alright, let's move on to a path that, like, really pisses me off. Alright, now that past Meltdown path, it's fine. It is what it is. Like, I mean, is it the easiest path in the world? No. Is it doable? For sure. Do I love the passive degen damage? Absolutely not. But let's move on to the worst path I have ever seen in my entire life. And this is, not only do you bleed, but also acid wash. But here's the kicker. Every single one of these nodes, all these nodes, the ones that aren't completed because I just didn't feel like taking 2 hours to do it, in a beta, all of these nodes have shifting immunity. The defender starts the fight with a bleed immunity, which alternates every 10 seconds, with poison immunity. When an immunity triggers, it purifies any corresponding effects. Oh ho ho ho! Look at that. So, we can only do damage with a bleed or poison, alright? And every 10 seconds, we're going to be immune to that for 10 seconds. On top of Luke Cage getting us indestructible, on top of King Groot purifying any poison you put on him, on top of Captain Marvel potentially going indestructible. What is that? What is that, man? Like, what's going on? What is this? I have no words for this. I have no, like, what were you possibly thinking? Like, I understand the idea. I understand, like, the idea of, like, yeah, it's do you bleed and also shifting immunity, and the next fight is going to have the acid wash, and that's going to be shifting immunity too, and you're going to have to bring a really diverse team for this path, but all it does is make each fight last, like, 5 freaking minutes, man. Like, there are no, like, poison champions in the game that do, like, a surplus of poison damage. Like, it's just... Let's move on. Let's move on to a path that I actually really like. I really like this path here, and this is the Vigorous Assault, okay? So what Vigorous Assault is while the defender has a regen buff active, they gain plus 65% attack rating, and their attacks become unblockable. Now, this is also paired with Armored Assault, alright? So, for some champs, they're going to be unblockable when they have the regen, and some champs unblockable when they have the armor on the whole path. Now, what's cool about that is that there is also Arc Overload. So every 20 seconds, the defender is going to trigger a regeneration buff and an armor up buff. Now, that's really cool because there's also stun vulnerability, alright? So they're going to take 200% increased damage whenever they are stunned. And what's awesome about that is because there is an RPG element there of finding times when you can stun the opponent or ways to stun them when they are unblockable, and you get rewarded for doing so. That is wonderful design. That is great node design, and they all work together in that way. It rewards the player for playing smartly, and it rewards skill. There is no random BS unavoidable passive damage. You can do this lane with almost anybody as long as you are a skilled player. That's how nodes should be designed. Great job. This Guillotine 2099, by the way, she's really tough because she always has an armor up buff, okay? So, once again, give me one reason why I shouldn't use Quake for that fight. One reason. None? Okay, let's move on. Up next, we have Life Cycle. Now, once again, there's not too much BS on this path. There's only one big bit of BS on this path we'll get to in a second. But you know, Life Cycle is when they're immune to damage over time effects, and you have to knock them down, and they get the shield, and you have to kill them while they're knocked down, and they regenerate. You know, you can get through this with the normal Life Cycle counters. But the biggest issue I have with this node is the counter tactics node. And the reason I have an issue with this is because the defender increases base attack by 20% for each hit of the attacker's combo meter. Now, the attack rating is already overly inflated as it is, alright? So I feel like this node just has to be removed and this path is fine. Okay, because here's what happens, all right? The attack rating goes up at 20% for each hit, and then we get to this magic right here. And one limbo after like a 10 combo, and you're dead. There's no way around it. Like, unless you're using Omega Red or like Gladiator Hulk, I guess, or like Namor, you're dead. And or Quake, but I don't know how Quake works on life cycle. However, you're dead, and there's just no way around it. That's just, it's unavoidable damage that scales too high, okay, with the counter tactics. Let's move on. This path here, this path is another new node that, of course, I seem to just have a problem with. I just have a problem with everything today, right? Now, here's the thing. It's like I understand the thinking here, and in theory, I like the node, and I feel like it's just about there, but it's just pushed a little bit too far. Arrogance. Every 10 hits on the attacker's combo meter afflicts them with a falter passive. Falter causes them to miss. That's fine, right? And last 1 second, here's the problem. For every 10 hits on the attacker's combo. Okay, well, how much health do these opponents have? About 300,000, 320,000, 280,000, right? Unless you're using Ghost, Corvus, Quake, Omega, Nick Fury, right? You're gonna have like 80 to 90 to 100 hit fights if you are unboosted, especially if you're not running the Suicide Masteries, right? So by the time you get to like 90 hits on your combo, you're gonna be getting a 9-second falter every 10 hits. That's insane, dude. Now, how can you go around this? Use Human Torch. Use Nick Fury. Those are two really great miss counters. Like, cool. There's 2 options there. That's 2 options to really counter miss well. Who else can we use that'll do really well here? Quake. I mean, come on, dude. Because there's another path that's like, why wouldn't I use Quake? You know what I mean? Now, also, there's, look at this, Cold Turkey 3, dude. Whenever the attacker purifies a debuff, they receive a burst of degen damage, dealing 40% attack. Like, what the like, I'm not gonna curse because I don't want to go back and edit this. Like, what? Why? Man, there are some champions like Mole Man who like literally all they have is that they debuff, they purify debuffs. That's all they got going. And then you're gonna take 40% attack damage degen of passive degen because they're using their abilities? What is that design? What is that, man? And like, look at the defenders on this path. It's like, let's just stack all of the BS defenders. Sinister, Annihilus, Iceman, you better bring a Cold Snap immune champ, so you can't use Quake there. Mysterio, Sunspot is a joke. Green Goblin's annoying, and that's the truth. Venom is sometimes annoying too. Venom's really freaking annoying when you have to have an 8 and 9 second falter on you. Like, what is up with this, man? Like, defenders aside, it's the falter that's the issue. Like, I use Quake for most of this, like, because why wouldn't I? Like, give me a reason not to use Quake here. Like, it's such BS. Like, could I get through it? Like, can I get through it fine with Corvus or anybody else? Like, yeah, I could. But, like, why would I break my back getting through this, like, really ridiculous node? It's just, like, the falter shouldn't be there like that. I don't get it, man. Up next, we have a path that really bugs me. We have Icarus, okay? Icarus and buffed up an EMP modification, all right? So Icarus, you're gonna gain a buff every single time you hit the opponent. So basically, you hit the opponent 5, 6, 7 times. By the time you get them to a special 1, you have 10 EMP modification charges on the opponent, all right? They throw 1 special 1, you're dead. Unless you're using a shock immune champion. There's no debate. You are dead. 100%. Now, Icarus and buffed up, I believe those two go really well together. I think that's awesome. Take away EMP modification, and I absolutely love this path. I think it's great. But here's the issue. There are some fights here. Black Widow Clairvoyant, who are you going to do this fight with aside from the Thing? The Thing is immune to nullification. She is going to nullify all of your buffs that you gain from Icarus. And then, you're not going to have 3 buffs for buffed up, and by the time you finally get rid of her clairvoyant charges, right, and she's going to be gaining those every 3 seconds because of the note on her, by the time you get to buffed up, she's going to be at a special one. She's going to be at a special one, she's going to toss off the special one, and you're going to die from EMP modification unless you're using the thing who's shock immune. Who else is shock immune? Mole Man. You're not going to use Mole Man. Who else is shock immune? Terrax. You're not using Terrax. Who else is shock immune? I'm blanking right now. Who's shock immune? Corvus is not shock immune because he's immune to shock debuffs, not passive shock. This is passive shock. Electro. Look at that. Electro would be so great on this path. Are you going to rank up your Electro for this path? No, you're not. Give me a break, dude. This path is like, if you have thing, you can do it. Plus, there's a thing here. Like, dude, your attack is going to go through the roof with Icarus. It's going to go through the roof with Icarus. You're going to activate protection the whole time. It's like, what are we doing, man? Like, it's not challenging. It's not an RPG element here. It's just BS. Like, sorry, dude. And also, Sim Supreme, he's gonna nullify your buffs too. It's just like BS, man. It's just not fun content, man. Like, is it supposed to be challenging? Yes, dude. 6.2 champion is my favorite fight in the game. It's supposed to be challenging. It's not supposed to be BS. That's BS, man. Sorry, dude. Like, I don't even care. It's just BS. Let's see. And you want to talk about some more BS? Let's go to this next path here. Defective Defense, all right? Blocking attacks applies a disorient debuff to the attacker, reducing block proficiency and defensive ability accuracy by 25% for 12 seconds. So now we're being punished for parrying well. So you parry, well now you can't parry again, and also if you parry, there is tenacity here, alright? So when inflicted with the debuff, this defender has a 75% chance to purify the debuff. So you're going to parry, and you're going to get that disorient debuff on you, and they're going to shrug off that parry. So let me ask you a question. If you're not supposed to parry and you're going to get that Distorient debuff on you, who would you use here? Give me 2 champions that you would use that you don't have to parry and you can take down the opponent. Oh, that's right. I'm going to go ahead and use Quake and Ghost because give me one reason why I shouldn't. Give me one reason why I shouldn't. We are designing nodes that are supposed to limit these overpowered champions, but they become the only like really decent options. There are like 2 basic skills in this game, and that's parrying and intercepting, okay? And now one of them is being punished? Like, this one isn't too bad. It's like, just don't parry, okay? But like, I just don't think players should be punished for parrying. Like, I mean, like, that takes away, like, you can't use Captain America Infinity War. You can't really use, like, Sunspot. You can't use so many champions that rely on parrying, that rely on parry heavy. There are so many champions that rely on parry heavy, dude. And you just can't use them here. Like, why are we just limiting our roster, man? And then there's Clapback, too. Like, Clapback is, like, it makes, like, Human Torch all right here. But, like, you want to parry with Human Torch. You want to parry heavy to build temperature. Let's move on to another path. Now, this path isn't really BS. This path is tough. I like this path. It's tough. It's challenging, all right? It has a power struggle. So they gain a bar of power. You gain a bar of power. They use a bar of power. You lose a bar of power, all right? There's also power from far. I like that node. That's you're far away from the opponent, and then they're going to gain a power gain buff. Also, all special attacks are unblockable. That kind of sucks on Doctor Strange here because his special 2 is really annoying. But, like, you know, it's tough. It's supposed to be tough. It's end-game content. There's nothing that you can't get around. Some of these defenders, you know, Cable Special 1 is annoying. Hyperion with the power gain is annoying. But you can cheese through a lot of this. But, like, Doctor Doom and other champions as well. You know, bring a Havoc counter, bring an Arcus counter. Mephisto, I wouldn't want to do this fight without Quake personally because of the power gain. And then there's Silver Surfer as well. That's no big deal. Alright, let's talk about the mini-bosses now. We'll go in reverse order. This guy's no big deal at all. He has the defective defense, but you're not going to want to really parry Kingpin anyway, ever. And he also has Tyranny and Unlimited Power. No big deal. This guy has about 500,000 health though, so you're going to want to bring somebody to deal with that. Preferably a villain. I mean, the Ghost works really well. No reason not to use Ghost. Up next, we got this guy. Now, he's got that arrogance, so you're gonna get that falter passive every 10 hits. And this guy has about 450,000 health. Like, good luck taking this guy down, man, without, like, in a decent amount of hits. It's just not going to happen. Like, there's just no reason not to use Quake here. That's the issue. That's the issue that we're facing with this content, is that there's consistently no reason not to use Quake. If you want to use Warlock to stop his regeneration, well, don't throw a special 2. don't throw a special 2 because you're going to start missing halfway through. He also has Lionheart. Yeah, so you can't even reverse its healing with Human Torch. If you bring Torch to counter the miss, you can't reverse the healing. That's great. And then we have this Red Skull over here. Where is he? This guy's no big deal. He has Meltdown. That's fine, but it's Red Skull. Red Skull's not tough. Just, bait out the special 1. No biggie. Let's talk about the boss, man. Let's talk about the boss, who I have a lot of issues with. So, Rust and Ruin. When the defender is struck, okay, 40% chance to inflict an armor break on the attacker, reducing the defender's armor rating by 40 over 10 seconds. Why is that there? Well, it's there to counter Ghost. Really? On Emma Frost? Is that where we want to counter Ghost? We already really shouldn't be using Ghost for Emma Frost. You can, but you can't phase through her special attacks. Emma Frost is kind of already a Ghost trap. You're not going to be a casual Ghost player is not going to be able to take this fight. And you're putting an armor break on there for people who ranked up their Ghost, who enjoy using Ghost? Really? To me, it feels like a slap in the face. Personally, I used my 6-star generic gem on my Ghost. I brought her to rank 2. I'm going to be bringing her to rank 3 very soon. Just putting armor breaks everywhere just to counter Ghost? Give me a break. That's all I'm going to say there. Give me a break. Heal block, advanced. The attacker is permanently affected by a passive heal block and a passive fate seal against regen buffs. Why is that there? I guess to take away from any willpower healing from that armor break. Okay. Why though? Why? Just cause? Okay. Oscillate. Every 15 seconds the defender alternates between a Fury passive, okay, increasing base attack by 110%. So, not only are you not going to be healing anything from willpower, right, from those armor breaks, there's also 110% increased base attack because the attack rating isn't already unbelievably inflated. Let's bring it up by 110%. Awesome, dude. That's really dope. And the great thing about the heal block is that it's going to punish anybody who uses the Suicide Masters, right? And people who run endgame content, I'd say about 85 to 90% of people use the Suicide Masteries in Act 6 and Act 7. So this really just severely limits the options for this boss, right? You pretty much want to use Warlock or Sentinel at this point, right? Unless you take off the Suicide Masteries just for this fight. Okay, that's great. Let's talk about the link notes here. The defender's special attack costs 50% less power. That's awesome because we love baiting out Emma Frost's special 1, right? That's dope. I mean, honestly, that's fine. That's fine, it's challenging, but when you combine that with Empowered Immunity, where whenever this champion would receive a debuff they are immune to, they generate 33% of a bar of power. Now, Emma Frost is immune to freaking everything, dude. Including, apparently, armor breaks. Armor breaks 6 out of 9 fights. How do you fight Emma Frost? Well, you put an armor break on her. Well, not this time. I mean, dude. What are you doing here, man? Honestly, dude, I fought this girl 7-8 times, and the best I ever got her down was by 20% in 1 revive, honestly. Can it be soloed? Yeah, probably. If you're really on your game and you're using let's say you're using Sentinel and you're having a perfect fight, but when you're baiting out her special 1 and dealing with Oscillate every 5 seconds, dude, and she's immune to frickin' everything, you're just consistently baiting out her special 1, and you have to focus on the Oscillate and here's the thing, man, it's I appreciate the challenge there, but you just limit so many options for so many people when you have the heal block there. Because a lot of people, if I took Suicide Masteries off, yeah, I'm sure it would open more options for me. So maybe I'm complaining about the wrong thing there. But the heal block, I don't see a reason for it, man. And the Rust and Ruin, it just pisses me off, man, as a Ghost user. Yeah, I like to use Ghost, dude. Should I be punished for it? watch and be punished for using my favorite champion in story content? Oh, you know, rank up your champions. Buy 6 stones. Buy calf crystals. Complete Abyss. Get the generic 6-star. Now you can get this generic 6-star gem. Now you can use your champion in Act 7. You can't use the one you like. Sorry, man. It pisses me off. And that's the truth. And I don't complain very often, man. I really don't complain. But that is BS. This entire chapter, this entire quest is BS. Except for the Vigorous Assault path and the Power Struggle path. There is BS in some way on every other path. And it's upsetting. Kabam Mike said to us, I understand that you guys are mad because of this. No. We're not mad. We're not mad. We're disappointed. That's what Hector said. Hector said that in his video. He said it right to him yesterday or 2 days ago. We're not mad. The community isn't mad. We are disappointed with this. What are you doing? What are you doing, man? I really hope that you take the time when you're reevaluating this content to just redo it completely. Because honestly, man, no bueno from me. I don't even know if I'm going to make one for part 2 and part 3. Part 2, I'll tell you right now, I liked part 2 hell of a lot better. There's a lot of stuff in part 2 that I really liked. Honestly, I did all of it. Part 3, I'm still working on. I don't even know if I'm going to finish it. I'm just so upset with this content. But I'll probably make one about part 2 about... Here's the thing. Part 1, they tried to make like those RPG elements and they didn't do a good job. They went too far with it and they made it too restrictive. Part 2, the nodes complemented each other much better and allowed the opportunity for more champions to get involved. So I'll probably make that video to show you where they went right in part 2 as opposed to where they went wrong in part 1. Alright, my dudes, that's going to be it for this video. This is like 25 minutes. I thought this was going to be like 10 minutes. I was going to put all 3 parts in one video, but I guess I'm not doing that. I guess I'm just putting this up. Yeah, that's going to be it for me, dudes. I guess like this video if you liked it. That's what I usually say, right? Comment what you think about this content, although I already know what you think about it probably. And subscribe if you want to see part 2, if you want to see some upcoming Rank 5 Mojo gameplay. I don't know. Just do your boy a favor and subscribe, right? I'll be seeing you around.